So, so today we are going to talk about learning curve. So learning curve is our topic, and it's a very, very important topic because this topic is used in most of other topics. So you have a lot of application of this topic in other topic. So make sure you at least you know how to apply this concept. So the concept is about learning curve. So learning curve. And this learning curve comes because of what we call the experience and the skills of a person, which leads to efficiency, having considered time. Now, before we explain it, let us just give a small definition of what's a learning curve. You can say it is a technique. It's a technique used to forecast cost. Used to forecast cost. It's a technique which is used to forecast cost in a situation where average completion time in a situation where average completion time reduces systematically. As more units are produced. As more units are produced. Now, what we are trying to mean here is that when you become expertise or you have a skill in doing something, so the more you acquire that skill, the more you end up doing that work in a very shortest period of time. Now, let's give an example. Now, if you were to make a table today, your first table, so tunasema wewe unataka kuwa fundi, for example, you want to become a carpenter. Now, for you to make one table, your first table, so assume ndio unaanza kazi leo. So for you to make one table, you might find that you are making that table with maybe 40 hours. So for you to make a table, you shall make that table using 40 hours. Now, but as you keep on making that table, now maybe after umetengeneza, then umepata some experience. Maybe unapata for you to make another table after you have gained some experience, you might make the same table maybe with 30 hours. Now, as you keep on getting experience from time to time, then for you to make another table, you may make a table, the same table with 20 hours, and so on. So as you keep on adding skills and experience, being familiarized with that table. So as you keep on making that table, assuming that there is no breaks, so hakuna break, so you keep on making the table, you keep on unapata order hapa, order pare. So as you keep on familiarizing yourself with making that table, the time of completion of that table will reduce. So as you keep on making yourself familiarized with making a table, the time of completing a table becomes inaenda kupungua. But itafika mahali where maybe this is the final. Now for you to make that table, the maximum time you can require to make a table, it is 10 hours. Now you cannot maybe make a table with less than 10 hours. Ama useme pap meza tokea. So it is impossible. So itafika mahali, then the time of completing itakuwa constant. Tunasema hivi, if you were to draw it, let us draw it, for example. Let us say this is the average time, and this one is the cumulative units. You see what I mean? And then This is our learning curve. This is our learning curve. Now, as you have realized, let us assume we have some hivyo. So in case you don't see my screen or the board, you shall say. Now let us assume this one is 10 minutes, 20, 30, 40. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes?
Because 12. Good. So now I will need the summation. I need the summation. That all the summation is sheet number 1. All the summation is sheet number 1. Press shift.
Hey, Captain. Mute, Captain. Yes, hapo iko sawa. Now, what I'm saying, let us explain this table so that we can know what we are talking about. So this is the learning curve effect. So we are trying to explain the learning curve effect. As you keep on getting more and more experience, do something, it requires less and less time to complete, to make that item. That is what we are trying to say. And now we can write this one and say, so as we increase, as cumulative units, increases, the average completion time reduces, but it will reach a stability point. So at point 10. So 10, this is our stability point, this line, where any cumulative units will have no effect. We have no effect on average time. Now, that's what we are trying to say. Now, as we keep on adding, but remember when we were saying as we keep on adding, it means we keep on producing a particular unit without break. So we are talking about, for example, a table. So as we keep on producing more and more table from time to time, we get the experience of producing a table. And therefore, the average time of producing one table in a reduce. So for example, kama ndio unafanya kazi ya kutengeneza table, now you are new in the market, ama ndio umeanza hiyo kazi. So tuseme leo upate order ya kutengeneza table. So hiyo table leo, hiyo customer utamuundia na 40 hours. So after 40 hours, the customer anaweza kuja kupick. Aya, maybe after another 2 days, so tumesema the work should be repetitive. So there is no break in between. So kama ni order unapata order from time to time. Hakuna kupumzika ati haufanyi kazi. So tunassume the work is a continuous process. Now, maybe after 2 days, upate another order to make another table. Now, because you ulikuwa umeshatengeneza table ya kwanza, ukapata some experience how to do it, maybe now the next table you can do it with 30 hours. You can maybe make it with 30 hours. You know tunamaanisha. Now, itafika mahali for you to produce to make a table, you can produce with the shortest time possible, maybe even after 5 hours. So itafika mahali the time itself will reduce up to, for you to make a particular table, you shall require the least minimum time because of the experience and the skills that you get from making that table. And that's what we call the effect of the learning curve. So a technique used to forecast cost in a situation where average time reduces systematically as we keep on producing more and more units. And remember, it is because of the experience and skills that we get. I think that is well explained. You can go to something else. I think that one is well explained. So you keep reducing the head systematically because you are familiarized with the concept of making a table or a chair, whichever. Now let us move on. Let us move on, and we say when the learning curve is prolonged, when learning curve is, my pen kama imeisha, let me change it. So when the learning curve is prolonged, so when the learning curve is prolonged, it becomes an experience. It becomes an experience and skills. It becomes an experience and skills. And here hapa. Now, as we keep on adding, as we keep on producing something more and more, it means that we get to know how to do that thing. And therefore, that is an experience or a skills. So we consider the cumulative units as we keep on adding the units, as we keep on producing the units, or as we keep on just adding them. It's an experience that we are adding. That one is fine. I think that's what you may get. Tulisema tunakimbia. From this topic tulisema ni kukimbia, hakuna kuangalia nyuma. Now, experience is never forgotten. So another thing you need to remember, experience is never forgotten. So those who are in a relationship can testify to that one. So when you get a good experience in a relationship, it is very hard to forget. Now, we are very also here in this aspect. So experience is never forgotten. However, experience may not be achieved due to the following reasons. Due to the following reasons. Due to the following reasons. Number one, high mobility of labor. Now, when you keep on from moving from one work to another, you keep on changing work. Ni kumaanisha you might not get the experience. So unapata leo unatengeneza meza, then umepata kazi nyingine unaenda kutengeneza kitanda. Now, you might not get the experience of making the table that much. So high mobility of labor. High mobility of labor. Now, keep on changing work from time to time. So you might not get the full experience or the skills because of changing the labor from time to time. Another one, short-term nature of the work. Short-term nature of the work. Stroke plan. Now, maybe you umepata tenda ya kutengeneza meza. But next time, utapata tenda ya meza, utapata ya kutengeneza kiti. Tena siku nyingine upate ya kitanda. Na before upate another tenda ya kutengeneza meza, utakuwa umekuchukua muda mrefu. Na tumesema the work should be a continuous process. So kama ni meza, you are making a meza from time to time. Now, the nature of the work. So leo unapata tenda ya kutengeneza kitu fulani and not the meza itself. So maybe kesho ni kitu kingine, siku nyingine kitu kingine. So before upate tenda ya meza, maybe utakuwa umekaa for a very long time. Na tumesema the work should be continuous. So that one is another challenge. So it should be continuous to make the cumulative units of that particular item. Another one, presence of the motivators. We have presence of the motivators. Ama haters. We call them haters. So anakuja na kudiscourage ati kutengeneza meza si kitu poa nini. So unapata hata wewe hauko unatoa muda wako kutengeneza meza, una change, unaenda kuleta kitu kingine. So because of presence of those the motivators, then you can find the work is not continuous because you are changing the work because of people around you who demotivates you. And then long breaks. Long breaks. Na tumesema the process should be continuous. We have said the process should be continuous. Now, so ukitengeneza meza leo, then ukae maybe kama 3 months, ndio utengeneze meza nyingine. Ni kumaanisha the process is not continuous. And therefore, you might not get the experience that we are saying for you to apply the learning curve effect. So because of the long breaks, that's what it could be. Another thing that we are trying to say. Okay, having noted that one, let us see assumptions. What are some of the assumptions of this learning curve that we might find? Assumptions. And these assumptions are very important. Number one, the job should be repetitive. The job should be repetitive. Repetitive meaning there is no breaks in between. So meaning there is no breaks in between. So make sure that there's no break. Number two, the job should be manual. The job should be manual. Should be manual. Manual, meaning use your hands. Manual. So it means that you are using your physical energy to do it. You are using your physical energy. But remember, we can also talk about manual job if you are doing an audit. So remember, if you are doing an audit, for example, if umeenda kwa kufanya audit, so for example, umeenda kwa field, so you have been assigned to go to the field, to this company to conduct an audit. Now, so if you go to one company, it means you shall get experience of how audit is done. Maybe kesho uende kwa another company, hivyo. So, as you keep on going to different companies, in terms of going to the field, you might end up getting to know how to reduce the work with the shortest period of time. So the average time will reduce as you keep on getting experience of doing audit, the field audit. So as you keep on getting yourself familiar with field audit, then it means as you keep on going to different companies to do field audit, so the average time of completing the field audit in one company will keep on reducing as you keep on going to different companies. So that's what you can categorize as a manual, because it requires your energy, go there, work, access the files, and so on. So you can categorize it as you do it manually. So as much as you are using your mind, you also need to use your energy in terms of the physical, so the manually. Number next, labor involved is indirect. Labor involved is indirect. Then number 4, so labor ni huyu mtu mwenye anafanya hiyo kazi. So it can be direct or indirect. Then there should be motivation scheme. So workers should be motivated. Workers should be motivated. So those are some of the assumptions that you might be required to give in this kind of scenario. Let's take a look on something else. Conditions. Now, so condition and the learning curve. So what are some of the conditions? So condition applied in learning curve. Nilitoka nje kidogo. Okay, haina problem. Wewe sema ati uko mwisho. Mwisho wapi? Mwisho wapi ndio nikisonga. So tunasema workers should be motivated as the last assumption. Workers should be motivated. Kama hiyo ndio unasema. Is it? Ama kuna nyingine? Jane? Is it? Let us continue. So if you have something, you can put it in the chat box. So it's allowed. So condition. that shall be met. That should be met. Let's see conditions that should be met and the learning curve. And the learning curve. Now, what are some of those conditions that should be met? So conditions that should be met on the learning curve. Number one, work should be repetitive. That's what we have seen in the other side. Work should be repetitive. Number B, production should be homogeneous product. Production should involve homogeneous, same homogeneous product. Kama ni meza, hakuna kwenda kwa kiti. So the production should involve the same product. So homogeneous product. So kama ni kiti, tumeamua ni kiti, so we focus on the kiti and not anything else. And then same individual should do the work. Same individual or group of people should do the work. You do the work continuously. Continuously. And then no breaks in production. Then no breaks in production. So remember, this one also forms the assumption. So if you use this one as the assumption, it's also correct. So those conditions also forms the assumptions. So those conditions also forms the assumption. The same individual or group of people should do the work continuously. 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 And then the last one, no breaks should be. There should be no breaks in production. So remember also this one. So kindly remember that also this one forms the assumption. So you can also use this one as assumption. Remember, you can also use this one as the assumption. That one is okay. That one is okay. Now, we have said as the cumulative units increases, so as the cumulative units increases, the average time of producing the subsequent units reduces. Let us add it here. So you can unatafuta nafasi. So unaona hii nilikuwa nimeandika hapa. I want to add it in another way, in another format. So let me add it there. So you can add it anywhere. As long as you remember, it is concerning the cumulative units. So it is concerning. So let us say, as cumulative units, increases, as cumulative units increases, the average time of producing subsequent units reduces. Hiyo ndio tumesema. So meza utatengeneza kesho, unachukua time kidogo compare na meza utatengeneza leo. So as you keep on increasing the units, the subsequent units, the average time of producing the subsequent units will reduce. This is because of experience of experience acquired. This is because of the experience acquired in producing area units. In producing area units. So this is because of the experience acquired in producing area units. That one is okay. That one is okay. So let us see some of the formulas that are applicable in this concept. Now, before we write it, so this concept deals with, before we write the formulas, so it deals with, number one, experience and skills. Experience and skills. Number two, efficiency. Efficiency. Number C, which is the last one, time. Now, these three concepts are related. Now, as we get on, as we keep on adding skills and experience, we keep on doing the job efficiently. And as we keep on doing the job efficiently, we keep on reducing the average time. So those items are related in that way. So as we keep on adding the experience and the skills of doing something, we keep on doing that something in an efficient manner. And as we keep on doing that something in an efficient manner, the time required to reduce that, to complete that unit or doing that something also reduces in that manner or in that order. Now, allow me to jump to applications of learning curve. So allow me to jump to applications of learning curve. So in your past paper, we might find a question from a topic of inventory or a topic of pricing decision, or later the story of learning curve. So it is just an application. So, but it is good you know how to do the learning curve so that to give you the topics, mambo itakuwa ngumu. So the important thing is to understand this concept and how it works. So let's see some of the application of the learning curve. So application of learning curve. So in the past paper nitakuwa nikiavoid swali zenye za application. So nitakuwa nikifanya ziko tu only na learning curve. Juu kuna swali zingine in our past paper utapata wame include the concept of learning curve, but sasa the swali ni from another topic. So hizo swali nikifika nitakuwa nikiwaambia ignore that one, tutafanya tukifika hiyo part. But for now, tutaangalia zenye we can do at the moment. So let us see what are the some of the applications of these applications. So now make sure you are very familiar with what we did in the previous class, the two classes. So especially the ANOVA. So LC means a learning curve. So LC means a learning curve. So LC means learning curve. So see Shanghai what LC. Number one. Let us talk of it is using work scheduling. Work scheduling. So those who have done project management, can easily they are familiarized with what is work scheduling, mostly when it comes to network analysis. But we are not going deep with that one. So, but it is used in work scheduling. Number two, setting labor standards. So settling labor. So standards. So settling labor standards. Now pricing decision, so tutafanya it's a topic in MA. Pricing decision. So this is a topic in advanced MA. I think it's topic 3. Our next topic, if I'm not wrong. And then number 4, inventory valuation decisions also. Also a topic, we shall do it. Name also a topic. Yeah, answer topic 4. Then topic 5, that is the inventory. Then also number 5 as also a topic in MA, performance measurement. So you can find the learning curve imekuwa used in this time. Number 6, project appraisal. Project appraisal. So you can find when you are doing NPV, you use the concept of learning curve. Also, that one is in here. There's some questions concerning that one. We shall also do them. Then talk about life cycle costing. Life cycle costing. Also a topic here. Shall do it. Apply there. Then you have the target costing. Target costing. Also a topic inside somewhere. They also do it. So those are some of the applications that we can find when we are talking about the learning curve effect. So the learning curve effect. So in MA we have 8 topics. Already we have tumefanya 2, hii ni ya 3. So tumefanya topic 1, tulifanya topic 1 in our first class, na tukafanya topic 8. So tumemaliza topic 1 na 8. So remember that one. So we are in topic 2. So tumebakisha tukimaliza topic 2, maybe by tomorrow class ya kesho, then tutakuwa tumebakisha topic 5. Now we have 8 topics. Now I think that one is fine up to that point. Let us give the formulas now. So the rest we shall do it as we shall be doing those topics in more details. So for now we just set them because we shall do them anyway. Now let us see causes first before we do the formulas. Causes of learning curve stoppage. Causes of learning curve stoppage. Now what could make the learning curve to stop? So causes of learning curve stoppage. Causes of learning curve stoppage. Now, what are some of the causes that could make the work to stop? Number 1, lack of resources. Now, you are supposed to make a measure, but hauna resources ya kutengeneza measure. So itabidi umengoja hadi upate the materials. So that one will make the work to stop. Number 2, long breaks. Now, when you have long breaks, will make the learning curve to stop. Remember we said the work should be continuous. Then let us stop. Number next, the motivators. We also make the motivators. It also makes the work to stop. So the motivators. The motivators. I look for motivators. Motivators. The motivators. Mental fatigue, kuchoka mentally. So maybe the work requires you to use the mind. Because we'll talk about physical fatigue. We can also talk about physical fatigue. Those can also make the work to stop. So umechoka and you cannot continue. And remember, we have said we do not have any breaks in between. Climatic condition can also be a factor. Now, maybe your work is based on outside, but a lot of rain or any other factor, which is considered climatic, cannot allow you to work. Then changes in technology. So technological changes. Maybe there's a new technology which can make table faster, and you don't have that technology. And people prefer to go to that technology, so leaving you with no work. That one will also reduce or we make the stoppage not to go through. Okay. Now we can talk about the formulas. Learning curve can be expressed as follows. So learning curve can be expressed as follows. So let us see how we can express this learning curve. Number one, we can use the total approach. So number A, let us talk about total approach. Total approach, and in this case, you can say y is equal to A x b plus 1. Ax b plus 1. Then number B, let's talk about average. Average approach. Now, in the exam, it is you to decide which method is applicable to that question. So tutaangalia tuone when are we supposed to use the total approach and when are we supposed to use the average approach. So A x raised to b. Now where y is the total time or total cost. It can be time or cost. So total time or cost. It can also be in terms of cost, depending with the equation. Y bar average time or cost. So depending with the question. So depending with the question. A, time taken to complete first unit. To complete first unit. The time taken to complete first unit. It can also be cost. To complete 1 unit. It can also be, so A can also mean cost incurred, depending with the question. So it is to check the question well. First unit. So it can be cost, it can be time, depending on the question. Then we have x. X somewhere it's there. And you can say x is the cumulative number of units. Cumulative number of units. Cumulative number of units. That one is the cumulative number of units. Cumulative number of units or cumulative production. Or the cumulative production. Now, this B unaiona hapa na nyingine hapa juu is called the learning index. Learning index. Now, how do you get the learning index? Now, the learning index is a log of R over log 2. Log of R over log 2. Remember R is the learning curve rate. So in most of the exam unakuwa umepatiwa learning curve rates. I think those are the formulas that you can find in examination. Now let us use an illustration before. Now remember NB, the learning curve is nonlinear. It's nonlinear equation. So remember the learning curve is a nonlinear equation. So you remember it's a nonlinear equation. Now, illustration. Let's start with the illustration before we go to our past paper, because I'm able to work in illustration. So given the following, so we need to work with an illustration first before we go to our past paper. Do you have the past paper? Zinakwanga moto hazibahatishi. So the past papers ni moto, but tajikaza. I know this paper is not easy, but tajikaza tu na Mungu atatusaidia. So hapa ni kuomba na kufanya kidogo kidogo hapa na pale. So I know this paper, it is as headache. Ni headache sana. So given the following, so we have A, it is 200 hours, R is 60%. Then B will be given as follows. Will be given as follows. So let's see how B is given. So B tumesema ni log of. So B ni log of R. Remember our R is our rate. R. So the running rate, which is 0.6 over log 2. So what will be the answer for that one? So what will be the answer for that one? Now, if you can join the class with a PC or a laptop, the better, because that one inakwanga very clear as compared to the phone. But you can use it either way. So we napata minus 0.74. Are you getting the same? So that's how you get the B, which is the learning. And then remember, we have B plus 1 somewhere. So for you to get the B plus 1, so this one. So sometimes in an equation, when you are using the total approach, you need the B plus 1. So kumaanisha the B plus 1 is minus 0.74 plus 1. So inakuwa minus 0.74 plus 1. Inakuwa 0.26. 0.26. So if you are using the total approach, that is, you need B plus 1. So if you are using the total approach, remember you need to use that one. Now, let us make use of that equation from this form of a table. So we have a particular table here. Let us draw it just for purpose of illustration, because illustration is better. So because it will help us somehow to remember some things. So just to explain before we go to our past papers. So you shall wait and nichore hiyo table ndio mjue side yenu itakuwa kiasi gani. Sababu kwangu ni kubwa. So we have cumulative units. Then we have average time. So tuko mara mbili hapa. The first one, y is equals to axb. And we have another one here, y bar t plus 1 is equals to r. Tutaonyesha venye inaenda later. So just be patient. Itaeleweka. Total time So we have y is equals to ax b plus 1. Now y is equals to y bar x. So table yangu inafikia hapo. So table yangu inafikia hapo. Now acha nichore tu polepole. Sijui just for illustration, hii haina mambo mingi. Just for illustration purpose. I want us to see something here. Aya. Now I hope kila mtu ameweza kuichora. Hivyo. That's how my table looks like. Now, this one we have the specific unit, which is in form of x. Let us call it the specific unit. So I'm calling them specific. Now, we have 1. So producing 1 unit, producing the second unit. Then back wapi? Fourth unit. 8 units. So we shall use that example. So nimetumia doubling effect. So from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, doubling effect. Nimetumia hiyo for a reason. So but naonyesha baadaye the doubling effect. But for now, let us try and kujaza your table. Now let's compute the average time of computing the first unit. So the average time used to compute the first unit. So the average time. So what would be the answer? Now, if you were to compute the average time of the first unit, y bar, so A is 200 as our first unit. X is our first unit, which is 1 raised to negative. Now it is B, negative 0.74. So what would be the answer? So tell me the answer. So that is if you want to get the average. If you want to get the average, if you want to get the average units. Inakuwa ngapi? Yes, watu wangu itakuwa ngapi? Tunasema 200 times 1 raised to negative 0.74. So hapa 200. 200. Yes. Amongei. Napata the same answer. So Gabriel amesema yes. Now, so this is the average units of completing the first unit. Now, what about this part? Now, in this case, for average time, inakuwa always the same. So that you need to remember. Inakuwa always the same. So the first unit, if you are to check, so the average time of the first unit is the same as the average time of the first unit. If you are to compare with that one. But as we keep on going on, utaona inabadilika. Let us see how inabadilika. Let's go to number 2. So before tufanye ile, let's go to the second one. Y bar is equals to the first unit 200 times 2 is negative 0.74. So how much will be that one? So 200 times 2 raised to negative 0.74. Napata ngapi? 119.75. Are you getting that one? 119.75. 119.75. Now, yes. Now, for you to get this one, y why t plus 1 kumaanisha it's the subsequent. T plus 1 means subsequent. Tukumbuke why t plus 1 means subsequent. So we want to get the subsequent, and the subsequent ni iko hapa. But remember yt bar is the unit for the previous one. So what is the previous time? So the previous time is 200. So remember, we want yt plus 1. So which is y2. So this one is the same as saying y2. Yt plus 1 becomes same as y2 because of hapa. We want to find y2. But remember, for you to get y2, we need the previous one, which is y1. T minus 1. So itakuwa ni, so the answer will be equal to what? So unachukua the previous one, which is 200. You multiply with our rate r, 0.6, which is 120. Which is 120. Which is 120. Tuko sawa hadi hapo? I think tuko sawa. Now do for me the, so Anne, do for me the fourth one. Na Jane alifanyie the eighth one. I'm waiting for your answers. So me take answers direct. So ukimaliza you just post it. 1 minute. Kama una calculator, you just say in advance. Kama una calculator, just say in advance. So 71.70. 71.70. Are you getting 71.70? 71.70. Aya. 71.70. Kama unapata 71.70. Anne, I'm waiting for yours. Now, Jane, so that we see if they're the same. Now, what will be the yt? T plus 1 for the second one. So you got ni 71, sorry, 120 times 0.6. So 120 times 0.6 itakuwa ngapi? 72. This will be equal to 72. 72. Now you shall look for the eighth one. So let me go to the second one. Let me go to this one now. Y 200 1 b plus 1 is 0.26. 0.26. So b plus 1 is 0.26. What will be the answer? So give me the answer. Give me the answer. So 200 times 1 raised to 0.26. It will be how much? Are you getting 200? Yes. And then the last one, y bar. Najua ni 200. So y itakuwa ni 200. So tunajua y bar hii hapa is 200. So times 1, which is the answer will be equal to 200. In short, total. Hiyo anamjaribu kusema total is equal, when you talk about average, let's use the word average. When you talk about average is equal to total divided by units. Now we have our average 200 and we have our units. So we have our average and we have our units. So for us to get the total, let's call the average, you multiply with the units. So 200 times 1. Aya. Give me for this one. That one will be equal to what? That one will be equal to what? Uh-huh. 239. Are you getting 239? Are you getting 239? Okay, you should start with the formula. Let me see your formula. Then you okay. Y is equal to 200 times 2, 0.26. So 239. Unapata 239? Na mchangamke bana, mchangamke. So 239.4.25. Haya. The other one, y itakuwa ni 119.75 times 2. So ndio tumie concept hii, the normal concept. So 239.5. 239.5. We have 286. I would have 286. 286 unapata wapi jamani? Oh, ya chini. So hiyo ni ya chini. So hapa ni 286. 286.75. Na huyo mwisho itakuwa ni 286.78. Kama ni hivyo. So tunasema this one is equal to 71.7 times 4. So here, so 71.7 times 4. Eighth one. So Jane, ulipata ngapi ya 81 from your side? So Jane, ulipata ngapi? Jane. Ama amesema yeye ajui. Now, what if we are talking about the interval? Now, this one is normal. Now, let us see if we are talking about the interval. How do we do it? Let us see in the case of interval. So this one is specific. Some are the one specific. It will be the one specific. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 8, or 1, 2, 3. We have a specific number. Now, what if now it changed from specific to interval? Now, how do we do it? So I hope mtajaza ya 8. So I hope mtajaza ya 8. So let us continue. Let us go to the in case. Now we find the item of specific. Now what if we find out specific? Let us see. Now we shall do away with hii ya katikati. Naona hii. Let's do away with these items. So hizo za juu. Usichore kwanza. Wacha nimalizie ndio you see how you shall refresh side yako. So let me first finish kuichora so that you shall know how to when you utaiweka on your side. Ndio tukienda kwa past paper ndio unajua ni kumoto. Now let's talk about interval. Interval. Now, for example, between 4 and 2. So what would be the average time? And what would be the total time between an interval of 4 and 2? And also, let's say for the 9th. What would be the time interval for the 9th period? So let's try for that one. Hiyo anasema tufanye ya 72 na nimeshavuta. Ya 72 ilikuwa gani hiyo? Which is supposed to be 71.85. That is hiyo ya fourth. 71.85, which unaweza ila of 72. Kama weke hiyo. So hiyo tunasema sawa, amepata. Now between 4, so remember the formula is the same. So for average time tunatumia sasa hii formula normal. Average is equal to AXB, and for total is equal to AXB plus 1. Now for average, Y bar for the first 4. So A4 means for the first 4 minus Y bar for the first units. So for you to get between 4 and 2, unachukua for the fourth na minus for the first one. Utapata the answer. Now, inasema kwa 200 times tuanza na fourth unit multiply with B minus 0.74 minus 200 times 1 is to minus 0.74. We shall get the answer. Now this one also the same. Y for the first 4 minus Y for the first unit. So kama ni 4 to 2, uchukua ya 4 minus yenye iko nyuma ya 2, which ni 1. So kama ni 4 to 3, nachukua ya first 4 na minus Y ya the first 2 units. So the first 2 units. The first 2 units. Hii inaonekana vizuri. The first 2 units. The first 2 units. So I want times 0.6816 60. Oh, it's supposed to be 60. The fourth one happen is 60 actually. So can you check that one? 671, 672 is 60. So 0.6 times 120, you are fourth. Uliweka vibaya, so uta correct on your side. Now, give me the answers for between 4 and 2. So kuna huko nyuma tulikuwa tumeweka vibaya. So ni 0.6 times 120 to get the fourth one. Now, itakuja ngapi? Minus 128. Minus 3, not minus 128, not 308. 128.302. Sijui kama unapata hivyo. Then on the other side, 200. Yes. Nasikia kwa mtu anaongea.
Wewe mkuu. Rudia hiyo concept ya average time.
Wapi hapo? Hii hapa.
Hizo vitu umeweka my F4, my F1. Bana, hizo si radi.
Oh. My F1. So, nasema hivi.
Hizo nini bana?
Nimesema hivi. For you to get the interval, the average time. For you to get the average time between 4 and 2. So now time ya 4 na 2. For you to get the average time between 4 units. So now, for us to produce 4 units, we need a particular average time. Sivyo? And for us to produce 2 units, we also need a particular average time. Now, what if we produce between 4 and 2? What will be the average time? You can Juliza. So, what is the average time between 4 units and 2 units? Now, what will be the average time? Now, the average time, remember, for me, Y bar. Now, the average time between 4 and 2 itakuwa itakuwa ni the average time for the first 4 units. Una minus the y bar for the first 2 units. So this one utapata the y bar between 4 and 2. You're gonna get, so that I'm gonna calculate the average time. Now, the average time between producing 4 units and 2 units. So what is the time in between 4 units and 2 units? So in the average time of the first 4 units, we less the average time for the first 2 units. For the first 2 units. Hivyo namaanisha, sijui kama unaniget, au wengine wananiget. Maybe mimi ndio si explain vizuri. Au wengine labda mimi ndio
na
sijui kama unaget.
oyo hapo
Umeget?
hapo vetu hapo kwa first bora tunatumia x kama 1 badala ya 2.
Unachukua yenye iko nyuma yake. Unaona, for you to produce between 4 and 2, nikumaanisha ni 4 yote na 2 from 2. Kumaanisha 2 inaanzia wapi? Inaanzia penye 1 imeishia. So penye 1 imeishia ndio tunasema for the, hapa ndio tumekosea, inafaa iko for the first 2 units. So hapa inafaa iko ni 1 penye 2 inaanzia, in short. So unachukua between 4 una minus ya 1 peke yake, kwa sababu kutoka 1 kwenda, tukichukua ya 2 ni kama tunaanzia from 3, kwa sababu 2 yote imeshafanyika. So between 4 and 2 hatutaki ya 2, tunataka ya 1 peke yake. So between 4 and 1 tunachukua ya yenye nyuma yake. So kama ni 4, kama ni 6 and 4, utakuja uchukua ya 6 and 3. Kwa swali yako hapo deka ya 6 na 3. So unaanzia yenye nyuma yake, in short. So between 4 and 2 unachukua 4 na ya 1. Hiyo concept I think umefanya somewhere, hata kwa email somewhere around hapo. I think ilikuwa hiyo concept. So unachukua yenye nyuma yake kidogo. So usichukue ya 2. So hapo unaweka 1. So the first 2 units. So unachukua ya 4 na minus ya 1. Utapata the average time between 4 and 2. Sio, tuko sawa? So unakuwa unachukua wewe tu juanga to save time. Ukipatiwa 6 and 4 unachukua ya 6 and 3. Tuko sawa?
Yeah.
Kwa
Kwa sawa, mimi niko sawa.
na hao wengine pia I hope mko sawa. So ukumbuke hiyo, usipokumbuka hiyo we shall give the wrong answer. Now let us continue. So I think that one is the answer for that one. So if you are to find the 9th unit. Now for 9th unit, utachukua the first 9 minus the first 8. The first 8. That is direct. Same hapa. Utachukua for the first 9 minus the first 8. That is, I think that one is straightforward. So for 8 or 9, so ukiambia ya 7, unachukua ya 7 una minus ya 6. Ukiambia the 5th unit, unachukua ya 5 una minus ya 4. So hapa itakuwa ni 200 times 9 negative 0.74, then 200 times 8 minus 0.74. So utapata answer. It's going to be equal to 200 times 9, 0.26, 200 times 8, 0.26. 0.26. Now how much is, or what is the answer for that one? What is the answer for that one? So unapata ngapi? So your answers, so that we Yes. Anyway, we shall find the answer for that one. Mimi sina. Sijaifanya. Now, let us go to our past paper now. Let us go to our past paper. So I'll be selecting because of the situation, because some question in terms of application. So we need to have the concept of other topics. So the pick I'll be picking zenye hazihitaji, so the pick zenye hazihitaji what? Zenye hazihitaji application. So let's go to know May 2015. May 2015, question number 2A. May 2015. May 2015. May 2015, question number 2A. May 2015, so tufungue May 2015 tafadhali. Can we get a volunteer to read for us? Any volunteer who can read the question to us? So any volunteer? No volunteer. Okay. Let me tap this one and then I read the question, then we do it. And then we do it. So mjue hii maswali inakuanga moto sana. So when you get familiarized, at least you can do something. At least unaweza fanya. So the important thing is that upate answer. At least you can apply something and you do the question. So let me read the question. So the question is for May 2015, question 2A. May 2015. May 2015, question number 2A. Now the question reads, JEC Ltd is evaluating the assembly cost of producing the large LED television sets that targets a high-end customer in the entertainment industry. The company has just received an order for 8 television sets. The estimated cost are as follows. Direct material cost per television, so per television is 400,000. Direct labor usage for the first television set is estimated to be 2,000 hours. Direct labor cost amount to 300 per hour. Indirect manufacturing costs are predicted using 2 separate cost functions, each with its own cost driver as follows. Equipment related to direct cost is at a rate of 120 per direct hours. Number 2, material handling related indirect cost at a rate of 150, at a rate of 50% of direct material cost. Learning curve is 85%, and the learning index for the 85% is negative 0.2345. JKLTD charges a profit margin of 3.5. Now this question we can do it because it is under target costing, but it is straightforward. But the question itself is straightforward. Now what is A? So we need to identify some figures here. Now we shall use the total approach method in that question. So the total approach, which is equal to y y is equal to a x b plus 1. So shall we do that to approach? Now, what's our a? Now our a in this question? Now that the first unit, it can be the first unit or the time taken to complete the first unit, or the cost taken to complete first unit. So it can be in terms of time or cost. So in this case, it is in terms of what? Information number 2. Read information number 2. The direct labor usage for the first television set is 200 hours. So A, tumepatiwa, it is 2,000 hours. What else do we need? B plus 1 tumepatiwa, but we can compute if you want. So if you want, tunaweza compute, let's play and compute it. In case of tumepatiwa. B, log ya ametuambia ni 0.85, the rate is 85%. So, but ametupatia, but let us confirm if it is the same. Let us confirm it is the same. So log 0.85 divided by the log 2. Kapata negative 0.345. I think that one is what is in the answer. B plus 1 negative 0.2345 plus 1. So negative 0.2345 plus 1, which is 0.7655. Now, I think hadi hapo sio mbaya. I think up to that point haina mambo mingi. Okay, let's move on and see. Now, our interest is to find the cost. So our interest here is to find the cost. Now, how do you find the cost? So for how many television are we told? So we need to know the number of X. Now, according to this question, how many television are we supposed to make? How many television?
8.
8. Hii information iko wapi na itafuta sioni? Where is it?
Laini ya pili.
Before additional. Nilikuwa natafuta hiyo the number of nini. So we need to determine now the total cost of producing 8 television. Now remember our formula. So our formula is aje? Y. So Y is our cost in this case. Now Y it can be our cost. So 2,000, not cost. Itakuwa not cost. Itakuwa Y itakuwa total time. Okay, let's see. So in hours for 80 units, we raise it to B plus 1, 0.7655. So Y itakuwa ngapi? I want to tell me that Y ni ngapi? So itakuwa ngapi? Itakuwa ngapi? I'm waiting for your answer. Changamkeni. Your answer, jameni.
9825.29.
9825.29. Kama napata hivyo 9829.25. This one is hours. Now the hours for making. So remember
9825.
9825. Point
0.29.
29. Remember, nasema ni hours. Reason why nasema ni hours. Remember, for you to make the first unit, which is A, we are supposed to make it with 2,000 hours. But now for 8 units, meniambia ni 98.25. So itakuwa hours. So for us to make the for us to make these 8 televisions, we need to a maximum of 9,000 hours. We need a maximum of 9,000 hours. Everyone anapata hivyo before niendelee? So we need a maximum of 9,000 hours. Aya, mimi assume kila mtu amepata hivyo, so I'm not going to add anything concerning that one. Now, let's come up with the cost statement. So we need to come up with the cost statement. Now, how do we prepare the cost statement? So kama kila mtu amefika hapo. Now, let us prepare the cost statement. Or the one to compute what? The invoice price. So for you to determine the invoice price, we need to come up with the standard cost. The standard cost statement. So cost statement. So we start with the first one. Direct material. Now, mniambie cost of direct material. So direct material. So one television costs how much in terms of material? So mnaongea haraka haraka tafadhali tukisonga.
400,000.
400,000. How many television are we looking for?
8.
8. So how much is that?
That's 2.
Aya. Labor cost. Now, how many hours do we have? How many hours?
98.2.
98 hapa juu. 98.
Hiyo bana.
25.29. Cost per hour from the question.
300.
300. Total cost hapo. Changamuke.
29,47,5.
29, sorry.
2 million. 47,587.
47.
29, 47,
Yes.
587.
29, 47, 857. Ivo.
587. 587.
Aya. We can add the two. Oh, let's go to our question. Kuna some other item ametuambia hapo. Nimepata hiyo question, let me open it again. Kidogo tu. Ametuambia something to do with the information number. Kidogo tu. Information number 4 for equipment. Now, indirect material. So indirect materials, indirect manufacturing costs are predicted using the two separate cost functions, each with its own cost driver as follows. Now, number 1, indirect costs at rate of 120 per hour. So at 120 per hour, you're direct. So you're equal to sawa, you're in a mambo. You're doing direct vehicle. So we have indirect cost hapa. Indirect labor cost. In an hours. How many hours do we have? 98.25.29 at a cost of 120. So prime cost umepata ni ngapi? Ukiniambiaga plus na hii. Inabidi nimechukua calculator juu naona mko pole pole. So 98.25.29 times 120. So huyu ni kumaanisha ni 1,179,034.8. So that's 200,123 plus 2947, 587. So this is equal to 6,147,587. So add the two. Now, before we add this one, we have another cost. Wanatuambia material handling related direct cost is 50% of direct material cost. So handling cost, talk about handling cost. Wanatuambia ni 50% of material cost. Material cost ni 32. So 50% of that one. So ni 1,600,000. So we have them find the total cost. Total cost itakuwa plus 1179 034.8 plus 61 47 587. So mimi napata 8,926,621.8. Now but wanatuambia the invoice price. So the invoice price ni kumaanisha the price yenye watacharge. Now how much will be the invoice price for each television? So hizo 8 television wanatuambia pale chini we have a markup, not a markup, a profit margin of 33 1/3. Now itakuwaje sasa hapo so that we can get the price? Now that one is a margin na hii ni cost. So what do we need to do? We convert the margin to markup so that we can get the selling price. So remember we need to add. So we need to add margin cost. Once we add the margin cost, we shall get the selling price. So our profit, lazima tuadd our profit ndio tujue tunauza pesa ngapi. All those 8 television. Now, how do we convert the profit margin to markup? Someone to convert for us. Someone to convert for us your profit margin. I think you mlifanya kwa financial accounting. I think somewhere. So how do we convert it? Yep. So that we can get the profit. Hey, wase wangu bwana. Anatuambia ni 33 1/3. So convert to markup. What do we convert aje? Someone to remind us. Yes. Ama mmalizie. So you calculate the margin cost, weke hapo, then you add to get the selling price. So make sure you get it from here. So you need to find the markup. So ukishapata markup, you multiply with this cost. Utapata the amount of cost unafaa uongeze so that your profits, so that you get the selling price. So make sure you check on that. Now let's go to another question. Tumemaliza hivyo. So that is on you now to make sure you complete. So hiyo nimewaachia ni yenu. So from your previous. Now let's go to this setting. May 2016, question number 1C. 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 So nakuwa nikiruka zingine zenye naona ni complex mpaka tufanye hizo topics. So but hii ilikuwa rahisi. Sasa nimeanzia na hiyo. So do the markup part. Ama let me give you a clue. Utasema 33 times 3 plus 1 itakuwa ngapi? Itakuwa ni 100/3. Then add 1. Add 1 there. Itakuwa ni 100/5. Utapata rate. So rate ni ngapi? Itakuwa ni divided by 4. So 25%. So that is what nilikuwa naambia mkalculate nyinyi hamtaki. Let me show you. So itakuwa 25% of 8,926,621. Itakuwa ngapi? So 0.25 times 89, 26, 621.8. Itakuwa ni 2,231,655.45. So profit yake, so this is the profit in short. So but anafaa auze at which price ndio apate profit? So the price anafaa kuuza nayo ndio apate profit. Anafaa auze na 11 million ndio apate profit ya 2 million 158,277.25. So even though, so that's how you convert from margin to markup. So ukipata ndio hiyo. So that's the profit. Tuko sawa hadi hapo kwa Palma?
Tuko sawa.
Tuko sawa?
Kabisa.
May 2016. Let's go to May 2016. Question number 1C. 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 So May 2016. Now let's read the question and see what's the requirement. Now, Spacecon Ltd is about to build a new radar system. Although the product uses new technology, Spacecom Ltd believes that the learning curve is 75%. The first unit is expected to consume 700 hours, and the contract is for 40 units required. Total amount. Now, total amount, you're supposed to use the total formula. So for part A, you use the total approach. So that's the total approach. Y is equal to be x plus 1. Now, what's our A? Our A?
700.
So our A is 700. So our A is 700 hours. For how many units are we supposed to find?
40.
So 40. We need to find the B. Now B, log of 0. Watuambia rate ni ngapi? The rate watuambia ni
0.75.
0.75. 75 over log 2. So hii inatupatia ngapi? How much would that be?
Negative 0.52. 0.42.
42.
Mm.
In three decimal place?
415.
Tumia hiyo. Now B plus 1. Kwa ni negative 0.415 plus 1. So itakuwa ngapi? Hiyo inakuja ngapi?
0.585.
Now we can find out. We find it hapa. So y will be equal to first unit tumesema ni 700. The one for the 3 units. So 0.585. So that will be form of hours. How many hours? How many hours? Aye. Jane, how many hours? Jane? Yes, Gabi.
6,000 and 57.64.
Aya, tuweke to round off tukue full figure. Tukue 6,058 hours.
Yes.
Average time for 40 units. So average time tunatumia the average formula, which is equals to A X B, sivyo?
Yes.
So 700 times 40. B yetu ni ngapi? Negative 0.415. Jina tupe hiyo. Jina tupe hiyo. Ama tumtoe kwa class. Aya, kama jina ongea CJ. Chief Justice Joseph. Chief Justice Joseph. Pia Chief Justice Joseph aongei. Twende kwa Cole Palmer.
151.44 hours.
So 151 hours. Aya. Hao wengine kama wale left. Wama waliona giza.
Wanacheza chini.
Okay. Wanacheza chini. Now, another way you can do this question, part B, tunajua our total hours ni ngapi? 658. Divide by the total units. Utapata the same answer. So kama hujui kumbuki formula, unatumia ile yetu ya kienyeji. Unachukua total hours, unadivide by the number of units. So total hours divided by units, utapata the average. Unapata 151 bado? So kama ukumbuki, tumia kienyeji. Utapata sasa.
Hiyo ni ngori.
Aya, number next. Number of workers required for those 40 units. Now, how many workers do we require? Now, what is the total hours per worker? I think watu wametupatia kwa swali. Tukirudi kwa swali yetu, assuming a worker ana work 20 hours. Now, if one worker anatumia 2058 hours. Now, how many hours do we need for 6058 hours? So many workers? Jane, tuambie sasa hiyo Jane hawezi lemewa. Hiyo nao kilemewa. How many hours? So kama one worker anachukua 2058 hours. Now, how many workers do we need to cover 6058 hours? Yes, Jane. Ama wameweka simu wakaenda. Aya, unajua kwani wajajua kazi ni bunyiko? Watashangaa. Aya. Hao ni kama wameweka simu wakaenda. So mbona basi ujoin? Si hakuna je ujoin?
Bana.
Ndio sasa. You are cheating yourself.
Amejibu. Amejibu kwa chat.
Amejibu kwa chat. Akasema how many hours? How many workers?
3
hours. Hiyo sitting I think imeisha hivyo. That sitting imeisha. We can go to another sitting. Tunafanya maswali mingi as many questions as we can.
Mbona umeweka 2058?
Ni 2058.
2058 instead ya 2080.
Oh. Kunguna ameonekana. Haya, 2080. Inampatia 3 so ina change workers. Ama ita back to the same?
The same because it is 2.9.
Yes, lot of we cannot have so itakuwa ni 3. Naweza kwa November 2016. November 2016 question number 2B. 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 So remember also tomorrow we are continuing with this topic. But tutakuwa tuna maswali. Nimeshamaliza kila kitu.
Na tukipata workers ni 2.4. 2.4
Now if
for example.
work kwa nusu, so unaenda to the next whole figure, unaenda to 3. Kwa sababu waka siwezi kwa nusu. Sawa. So tukisema ni 2, nani atakava hiyo 0.4? Nani atakava? So we need to cover hiyo 0.4. So we just employ 3 cover the remaining. So unachukua the number yenye iko mbele yake. So because we cannot have a half worker. Iko sawa? Mr. CJ. Now, tunasema tunaenda kwa which sitting November 2016 kwa number 2B. Umefika hapo kila mtu? Okay, natumai umefika. Now, the question reads, Innovator Ltd has designed a new model to manufacture machines. The cost and the sales price for the first machine of production has been estimated as follows. Ndio umepatiwa hapo. For the first machine. So for A, the company plans to sell the machine at a full cost plus of 25%. A learning curve, a 90% curve is expected to apply to the production work. Only one customer has expressed interest in buying the machine so far, but he views 87,500 too high a price to pay. He could buy more of the machine in the coming periods. Now, if the customer requirement, if the customer above paid 87,500 for the first machine, divide the price that he would have paid later for the second machine. Now, for the first machine, analipa 87,500. Now, what about 2 machines? Analipa ngapi? So remember, we are using the learning curve. Remember, we are using learning curve. So itakuwaje? How shall we handle that question? Give me a clue. Now let's start with the normal thing. At least unaonyesha examiner, at least you know. Whether una find B. Unaonyesha examiner tumadoido hapo. Itakuwa ni log R, which is 90% over log 2. So at least unaonyesha examiner venye itakuwa na minus ngapi? At least unaonyesha examiner venye unaweza changamkia hiyo swali. Hey. Ngapi yo?
Minus 0.152.
Minus 0.152. Umeka in automatic decimal place?
3.
3. Sawa. So 0.152. B plus 1. Negative 0.152 plus 1. Nakuja ngapi? 0.848. 848. Now this one, remember, this is the case for interval. Kulingana venye unauliza part A. So for the first 2 machines. Itakuwaje? For the code for the first 2 machine. Now hiyo tutafanyaje? Remember our equation, y is equal to a x b plus 1. So requirement pale wanatuambia, let us go to the requirement. Wanatuambia if the customer above paid 87,500 for the first machine, determine that how much you will pay for the second one. So for the second, serious. So hapa nakwambia you find for the second. Second hapana. Itakuwa ndanganya. Ni free ama ni endi? Hapa ni for the second. Hivyo. Now what is the formula? For the second, nilikuwa nimewapatia. Unachukua ya the first 2 una minus ya the first
one.
Iko sawa. Now let's find it. Now A, mniambie ni ngapi? From the question, A ilikuwa ngapi? Let me check. A ilikuwa A. Now enda pale chini kwa cost statement. Unaenda kwa labor. Let's go just kwa labor. Now how many, so itakuwa break in form of hours because we have hours. Labor requires how many hours? Labor requires how many hours? So that we can find A.
30,000.
Hours. Hiyo ni cost.
2,000.
Yeah, so utatumia hiyo kama our first, the hours for the first machine to 20 hours. So the cumulative time. So remember, tulisema A, it can be in form of cost or time. Now time is most applicable. If you go with the time, we can find it because if we have time, and we have cost per unit per hour, it is easy to multiply to get the total cost. So we go with the hours. Now tuangalie. So itakuwa ni the first unit 2,000. Now the first unit umeniambia ni 2. B plus 1 0.848 minus 2,000 times 1 0.848. Now how many hours? Umenipea hours? Yes, negative 0.152. Now how many hours? So unapata ngapi? So I'm waiting for your answer. How many hours? 2 hours?
1600.
Yes, 1,600 hours. I hope everyone is getting 1,600 hours. Now the question required to kuambia the cost of the first, of the second. Now itakuwa ngapi? So tuanze na material cost. So you need to come up with the cost statement. Tunaanza na material cost. So material cost itakuwa ngapi? So for the second only. So kwa sababu second only itakuwa same 25,000 for second only. Then we need labor. Labor cost. Umeona ni ngapi? Inatoka from 2,000 to 1,600. So inatoka from 2,000 to 1,600. So 1,600. So 1,600 hours. So inatoka from 25. So 25 tuliona ni ya the first unit. For the second unit ni 16 hours. Inapungua to at a cost of 15,000. At a cost of 15,000. Inakuja ngapi? So 15,000. So eka hii ni 15. Ndio tuiweke in 1,000, sivyo? Ndio iko 4,000. Remember it's in 1,000. So hiyo 15 hapa iko 15. Which is in 1,000. Haya. Ukitoka hapo we have another item which depends on labor. Ni gani? Overhead cost. Overhead. So kwa sababu niambia ni 50%. So 50% of 20. 50% of 4,000. Ni nusu yake 12,000. 12,000. We add them together to get the total variable cost. Unakuja ngapi?
61.
Eh?
61,000.
61,000. Haya, kwa hiyo swali yetu kiangalia. Na markup wanacharge ngapi?
25.
25% of this amount. So markup. Hii markup ama ni margin kwa hiyo swali yetu. Kama tulimia vile tumetumia. We follow the acha for example, acha follow the instruction. 25% of 61,000. So what will be our selling price? So 25% of 61,000 ni 15.
15 to 50. 15 to 50.
Aya, find the total price. Hii ni 76.
70 to 50.
Aya, si tumemaliza part A. Na part B wanasemaje part B? Advise the management of the innovator ZTD on the price per machine if the customer above places an order for the third and fourth. Now hapa anakuambia for the third and fourth. So utatafuta ya fourth na pia utatafuta ya third, sivyo? Ni between, so unachukua ya 4 actually minus ya 2. Sio ni between, tuseme ya interval. Ukipata interval mbili unachukua ya 4 na minus ya yenye kwa nyuma ya hiyo nyingine. Ama so let's see, and that will be the end of that question kulingana na venye naiona. So nivute hii. Let me not do away with it. Kwa sababu tutahitaji. So hii statement tutahitaji because we need to know for the so let us compute y for the first 4, y for the first second. Itakuwa ni A ilikuwa ngapi? A ilikuwa ni 2,000 times B no times X. X ilikuwa ngapi? Okay. X ni 4. 0.848. Then 2,000 2 times 0.848. So unakumbuka huko nyuma for that and fourth unachukua ya fourth una minus ya that yenye nyuma yake which is 2. Now hii itakuwa ngapi?
2880 hours.
2880 hours. 2880 hours. So tukuje tuchange hapa. 2880 hours. Aya, for material pia ina change. For hapa kwa material ni for the two periods. 25,000 times. Now, ya that na fourth ni mbili. Itakuwa ni mbili.
Yes.
So tukishafanya hivyo, hiyo swali kwa tumemaliza. So tumalize hiyo swali haraka haraka. So that will be the end of the question. So tomorrow tunakuja kufanya other questions from this topic na to introduce topic 3. So tulisema by the next 3 weeks ama by the end of this month tutakuwa tumemaliza hii nini? Hii MA.
Walai.
Unajua zile MA haina mambo mingi, ni maswali tu zinakuwa ngumu. Hiyo tu ndio issue. Kwa maana basi utamaliza, lakini sasa shida jiulize swali ninaweza kufanya ama siwezi?
Hiyo niachie. Wewe maliza syllabus.
Haya, huyu mwingine ni 50% off. So hapo ndio inakuwa swali. So kesho nakuja kuendelea na this topic, tufanye some other questions, then you introduce topic. The topic 3 tunafanya na kesho na Monday. Tutakuwa tumemaliza topic 3. So tuingie topic 4 and then bakisha 5 na 6 na 7. So topic ya second class, topic 7 ni standard costing na ni same na intermediate. Vitu ameanza some item hapo. Hiyo najua itakuwa na mambo. Hiyo najua hapo tutakimbia haraka. Hiyo ni topic ya siku nusu. So 50,000. So tuko kama kumaliza syllabus by the way. Mimi naona kama tunamaliza 114 800 and then need to change pia 114 800 28 700. Now let us find the amount 114 800 plus answer. So 143 500. Now let us meet tomorrow from so kesho hakuna APL. So kesho tutakuwa na Advance FM jioni. So because hakuna football, we shall have Advance FM from tomorrow. So meet itakuwa asubuhi kama kawaida in the morning from 9 to around 12. The Advance FM which will start from around 3 to 5 or to 6. Then that will be the end of tomorrow class. Anyway, with that one, I think the question are not that hard. So we meet tomorrow for the same. So you have a lovely good night. So kesho ndio tutaangalia other questions. And I will show you some of other questions which you can find, but it is an application. So we need to do other topics to elaborate it. Sawa sawa. So let us meet tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Viti kaka.